You're listening to Trax FM's podcast. If you've enjoyed our content, more podcasts are available on the RTM Click app and website. Let us know what you think. Please email us at traxfm.rtm@gmail.com. Like and follow us on social media at TraxFM Official.
Good morning, everybody. Aloha and welcome to Trax FM, Trax Momentum. First things first, Mala, thank you so much. You know what you did. Thank you very much. It's one of those boo-boo days that just happens. You just can't avoid it. But thank you very much, Mala. And guess who's on the mic? Well, I'm sure you guys know. It's Anil on the mic with you for Trax FM's Trax Momentum. And we've just now stepped into the second hour of the show. So guess what? To kick things off, in moments from now, I guess in about maybe less than 6 minutes from now, we'll be having our special interview feature of the day, which is called What Matters. Yes, the Wednesday's edition is called What Matters. And I will be speaking to Siti Aminah Kamaluddin, who is the Deputy Head of Profession at the Audiology Department of Ministry of Health and also the Medical Rehabilitation Officer at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital of Sabah. And today's topic is on the National Audiologist Day. Want to know more about it? Don't you miss it. Anil on the mic will be back with my guest in the studios in 5 minutes for today's edition of What Matters on Trax Momentum.
This thing I call love, I just can't handle it. This thing I call love, I must get around to it. I ain't ready. Crazy little thing called love. This thing I call love, it cries in a cradle all night. It swings and it jives, it shakes all over like a jellyfish. I kinda like it. Crazy little thing called love. There goes my baby. She knows how to rock and roll. She drives me crazy. She gives me hot and cold fever, then she leaves me in a cool, cool sweat. I gotta be cool, relax, get hip, get on my track, take a back seat, hitchhike, and take a long, long ride on my motorbike until I'm ready. Crazy little thing called love. Gotta be cool, relax, get a hip, get on my track, take a back seat, a hitchhike, take a long, long ride on my motorbike until I'm ready. Crazy little thing called love. There goes my baby. She knows how to rock and roll. She drives me crazy. She gives me hot and cold fever, then she leaves me in a cool, cool sweat. I gotta be cool, relax, get a hip, get on my track, take a back seat, hitchhike, take a long, long ride on my motorbike until I'm ready. A crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love. A crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love. Called love. Crazy little thing called love. Called love. A little thing called love. Called love. Crazy little thing called love.
The National Human Capital Conference and Exhibition, NHCCE 2023, returns with over 30 global thought leaders and industry experts sharing insights, solutions, and knowledge on transforming businesses and talents amidst a changing global marketplace. Learn and network at Southeast Asia's biggest human capital event. Let's pioneer growth and inspire change together this 30th and 31st October at MyTech KL. Register now at hrdcorp.gov.my.
Be inspired, informed, and up to date. Tune in to Trax Momentum interview feature of the day at 11:15 a.m. Join us as we speak to our panel of guests on various topics. Health on Trax on Monday. Tuesday, Spectrum. Wednesday, What Matters? Face to face with our guests on Thursdays. And on Friday, tune in to W Talk. Trax Momentum, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. only on Trax FM.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the second hour of Trax FM's Trax Momentum. As usual, I'm Anil on the mic, and Anil on the mic is not alone in the studios today. I'm joined by a very special guest who is actually shining a spotlight on a profession, because today's edition of Momentum is called What Matters. So we speak about things that actually matter the most, things that we often don't pay much attention to, and we want to, bring that out to the public and propagate that so that we all know a thing or two about certain things that have been kept out of the limelight from us. And to help shed some light on that, we have the very esteemed Siti Aminah Kamaluddin, who is the Deputy Head of Profession of Audiology at Ministry of Health, and also the Medical Rehabilitation Officer for Audiology at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital of Sabah. Siti, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Anil.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm really good. Thank you.
All right,
the weather's
great.
good today as well.
Yes, the weather is good and as beautiful as your wonderful smile. I have to say that. All right, great. So first of all, thank you very much for setting aside your time amidst your busy schedule. I know, attending to patients and medical health, medical support is something that you, often pay a lot of importance to, because that is something that we have, realized, which is a very important thing, especially when we were faced with the pandemic, that the frontliners, doctors, because to keep the gift of life sustainable is a blessing by itself.
Yes, it is.
It is.
It truly is.
So, to start things off, perhaps, Dr. Siti, could you explain more about the National Audiologist Day program, which will be organized from the 27th to the 28th of October?
All right, thank you, Anil.
You're welcome.
The World Audiologist Day is celebrated on 10th October every year. It was actually started with Audiology Awareness Month, probably started in the US. They're doing it in October every year, which later on, 10th October, has been unanimously chosen as Audiologist Day. I actually just personally love the number 1010,
That's my birthday,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, happy belated birthday, Anil. So this is actually the first time we organized it at the national level, which will be held in Hospital Cyberjaya this year. Okay. And this is a team effort between all relevant agencies. Audiologists in the Ministry of Health, the Malaysian National Society of Audiologists, we call MANSA, and 3 universities, namely the National University of Malaysia, the University Science of Malaysia, and the International Islamic University of Malaysia.
Okay. And what are the objectives of this program?
This program is actually dedicated to all hearing healthcare professionals, specifically in this term audiologists. And this is a platform for us to appreciate the contributions made by audiologists in improving the lives of individuals with hearing impairment.
Right. Okay.
So this celebration is also part of our hearing campaign, hearing awareness campaign, which highlighted the importance of the hearing senses in humans' communication.
Yeah.
As you know, we already know that we highly rely on our ability to hear and listen to communicate in our daily life.
Okay. Okay.
And through this program as well, we also aim to increase public awareness on the field of audiology and the role of audiologists.
Okay. And could you also share with us what are some of the activities that will be held during this event?
We have a lot of exciting events on both days, Friday and Saturday, 27th and 28th October. We'll conduct hearing screening, a body balance assessment, which of course both are free of charge, and hearing devices exhibition. Hearing aid consultations from audiologists in the hearing aid dispensing centers. So you can have your hearing and balance checked for free, also with free consultations from our audiology experts.
Okay. All right. Great.
We also have our career exhibition booth by the 3 universities I mentioned before. We have booth from an NGO, which is Hear Me and PICK PIC. They're actually both the hearing aid and cochlear implant users.
Okay.
Okay. And you can hear their stories on their amazing journeys in the world of sound.
Right.
They can share with you the ups and downs on their success with their devices and how they cope in the hearing world with hearing impairment.
Okay.
So on the 27th, specifically, we have coloring contest for kids.
All right.
So bring your kids along for exciting gifts, goodies, balloons, and foods. We have food trucks.
Okay, great. Malaysians, we love our food.
Yes, of course. All right. So on the Saturday, the program will be an official opening ceremony, sharing session, and special appearance from Adik Muna and Adik Daniel. Both have hearing impairment since birth and using cochlear implants.
Cochlear implants.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll talk about cochlear implants maybe as we get deeper into the conversation.
Oh, yes.
Siti, Aminah. But now, excuse me, sorry. Now, I just want to steer away from National Audiologist Day, and I want to shine the spotlight and, try to get your wisdom or to understand the whys, the WHYs, the motivations of being an audiologist. What really is an audiologist? And I'm sure you're an audiologist too.
Yes, I am.
But before that, when you wake up every morning and when you get ready to go to work, what is your why?
Okay. I think the big why is why am I being an audiologist is to help people.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure at some point in our lives, probably somewhere in our childhood moment, when when we have some kind of steer our career direction or somewhere, what do you want to be when you grow up? So that kind of questions, I think, come along during childhood. You watch televisions and stuff and like that, and somehow some movies kind of touch you in the heart.
Yeah.
And then I think that was I can't remember, but I was in like Standard 4, watching movies on World War II or something like that, and there was a scene in a hospital where doctors helping around, and automatically I was saying, I want to be a doctor.
All right. Okay.
But then along the way, with the career direction and stuff and awareness along the way, I choose to be an audiologist and still helping people, in our way.
So to be an audiologist, you don't need a basic MBBS.
No, we don't need the basic MBBS,
right.
but we do have bachelor degree, 4 years of program. We have local universities, the 3 universities I mentioned, produce local graduate audiologists with bachelor degree.
Okay. It's very interesting that you spoke about this, and I brought this up because we pay attention to the gift of sight.
Yes.
We pay attention to the gift of maybe sometimes even smelling. But you see these very tiny videos of a child that is born that has never heard the voice of his mother, never heard the voice of his dad.
Yes.
And then through the cochlear implants that you mentioned, some hearing aid, and the child listens to his mother's voice for the first time.
Yes.
And the smile on it.
Yes.
I think you must have seen that. Share some moments of that. Tell us.
It's a very touching moment for every one of us. When because hearing loss can happen congenitally, we call it at birth.
Okay.
Somehow because of infection during pregnancy, and somehow during complication at birth.
I see.
But the most thing that we don't know is the genetic involvement in hearing impairment itself.
All right.
Yeah, because we have this called genetic mutation, which both parents, and there's no hereditary of hearing loss in the family, but both carries the genetics. And when it happens to a child, there's a certain percentage of a newborn to have hearing impairment with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Perhaps we can trickle this down and discuss this in detail. Let's go for a short break, Siti, Aminah, and when we come back, we will resume with our discussion. For those of you who just tuned in, I'm Anil on the mic, and I'm speaking to Siti Aminah Kamaluddin. She's the deputy head of the of Audiology at Ministry of Health, and also the medical rehabilitation officer of Audiology at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital of Sabah. And we're speaking about the National Audiologist Day, which will be taking place from the 27th till the 28th of October. We shall resume with our discussion. Keep it right here on What Matters here at Trax Momentum. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. And on What Matters today here at Trax Momentum, we're discussing about the National Audiologist Day. I'm Anil on the mic, and I'm joined by Siti Aminah Kamaluddin, the Deputy Head of Audiology at the Ministry of Health, and also the Medical Rehabilitation Officer at Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Sabah. She's over here in town now for a week, and she's been enjoying her time, and she says she misses Sabah as well. Siti Aminah, welcome back to the discussion.
Thank you, Anil.
All right. So now let's jump in back into hearing. What are the common signs that we can observe, probably when we're looking at kids, to know if a person has some hearing problems?
All right. Hearing loss can happen to everyone.
Okay.
I mean, like, doesn't matter their age and stuff, but some kind of common problems that you may notice, like they're difficult to understand conversations, especially in noisy environments, because the noise can make listening worse. Okay. And they frequently ask people to repeat themselves or to speak louder. Okay, they make it get closer to you to hear what you say better. They sometimes or probably frequently turn up the volume on TV or other devices like radio and stuff to a level that others find it's too loud.
Okay.
So they themselves might feel like this is comfortable to me, but others like might complain, like real annoyed with that sound, and sometimes it can be heard by the neighbors as well. Okay, so they can sometimes withdraw from social events, social situations, because they avoid group gatherings because they can't really hear what people are saying, especially in groups, multiple speakers. And it's kind of embarrassing for them to ask people to repeat every time. Then they can have some kind of ringing or buzzing in one ear or both ears, but this is not really like frequently happening, but most of the time people with hearing loss experience this ringing.
Does it entail any headaches, minor headaches or things like that? Any other signs, or just focusing purely on hearing?
Yes, yeah. The ringing and buzzing, we call it tinnitus.
Tinnitus?
Yes,
okay.
yes. And they might speak loudly at appropriate, I mean, they can't really control their voice because they can't really hear themselves. Yes, we call it auditory feedback. So we just monitor our voice through auditory feedback. We call it, auditory feedback. And then from them, but because they cannot hear, that's why they have to turn their volume up. They have to raise their voice.
So how does someone do a self-assessment, so to speak? So for the benefit of our listeners, if they think, hey, I think, what Siti Aminah is saying really fits whatever I've been experiencing. What can I do?
All right, so seek an audiologist help.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to find, I mean, there's a lot of audiologists out there. You are not just in the hospitals or clinic. We are also in the hearing aid dispensing center. Okay. You can just walk in and have your hearing checked.
All right.
Yeah.
And what causes someone to have these hearing problems?
It can happen, okay, Anil, you might be surprised. Sometimes like a simple build-up of earwax in your ear can actually reduce the sound that's coming to your ear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We can have the most common in elderlies, the age-related hearing loss, which is presbycusis. Okay, this is gradual, natural decline in hearing sensitivity, so that you might kind of usually you don't really feel it, but people keep complaining that I think you have to check your hearing, or I think you have difficulty to hear. It's not you, because you don't really realize it because it's hidden.
Yes.
Yeah, so the people like notice it to you. Okay, and some people who works in hazardous, kind of work like noise hazard. Yeah, exposed to noise at work, really like noise every time, every day, and they have to put the hearing protection devices. Otherwise, they may get hearing loss earlier than their colleague who are at the same age. Okay. Because of the noise actually damaging your ear over time. Infections. But this one is kind of obvious because like maybe kids can tell their parents like they have itchiness or kind of ear pain, ear fullness and stuff like that. Okay, but for babies, the parents need to notice all these symptoms.
I've seen that, sometimes what they do to find out the kid's reflexes, they clap. They clap to see how the child reacts to the sound of the clap. Is that like something that they can...
Yeah, that's kind of, I would say basic kind of test that you can do. But when you clap, sometimes you give visual cues to a child. So they may notice, and then some kind of wind kind of thing when you clap that. And clapping hands might give you like kind of loud sounds rather than very soft sounds that you might want to try with the child. Maybe you want to try like whisper to them.
I see.
From behind.
Right.
Okay, then you can see whether they can actually hear or not. But sometimes hearing should be like, it's kind of related with attention as well. Like when a child or a person like really occupying themselves with TV and stuff, like playing, they just ignore you. But they can actually hear. Okay. So then it's just good to have a proper check on their hearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's look at the other end of the spectrum, Siti Aminah. We spoke about people who, people who have these conditions and why they have these conditions. Now, one thing we know is when you have any form of medical condition, any form of medical issues, it affects the quality of your life.
Yes, true.
And that is something that people who don't suffer with these conditions don't know. They're not empathetic. They can't put themselves in the shoe of another person. So
is.
so what you're going to say now will actually go out to them, so they realize that, hey, people with hearing loss actually have all of these problems, and these are the things that they endure on a day-to-day basis. So, cut them some slack and just have some empathy to them.
Yes.
So for the benefit of all of them, Siti, Aminah, tell us, to what extent, maybe you have some first-hand stories, to what extent does hearing loss affect the quality of life of someone living with that?
Right. I mean, if we don't put our shoes in their shoes, we can never really tell.
Yes.
I mean, that's why sometimes in our hearing campaign, for you to feel what they feel, you just plug your ear with kind of earplug or something like that, and there you go. You have some kind of temporary hearing loss, and try to walk in their shoes for the day. I mean, just going by your daily routine and stuff, you can feel what they feel. I mean, people annoyed at you, and people look like you like a dumb person, things like that. They are not actually dumb. They just can't hear properly. So this will lead to social isolation.
Social isolation.
Yes, they themselves feel embarrassed. They just feel shy because they cannot perform well, and they feel incompetence, especially at work. Okay, because they need help.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes when using hearing aids, there's also listening strategies that you can do with them, like putting them out of noise.
Okay.
Talking with them face to face, and you can actually helping them by rephrasing what you say.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can't expect them to hear everything and pick up everything just like that in a click, but you just have to rephrase and give them some time to understand and to listen. And if they need help, you just, ask them, if there's anything I can do for you to help you better.
Okay.
That's what we call inclusive.
Inclusive, yeah.
Yes.
Because I know of a relation of mine, of a very close relative of mine, who has this hearing difficulty. She's a distant aunt, and she's, she can't really hear on one ear. She hears another, so she every time finds herself turning onto the ear the way she hears better, and she makes you repeat yourself even louder and louder.
Yes.
And as a result of that, based on what you told me, I can see that a lot of the younger kids, the nieces and the nephews, have just refrained. They've stopped talking to her.
Yes, and that's not making things better, because that's kind of making them feel more embarrassed, more socially isolated, and that can also lead to dementia. The risk of dementia.
Wow.
Yes, because the brain is already deprived of the auditory stimulation to the brain, and that's actually kind of cut them off from having all informations, because we don't just learn by directly, we learn indirectly from overhearing what other people are saying.
Right.
So that kind of giving the brain kind of stimulation all the time, because we don't stop here.
I see.
Yeah, even we sleep, we can hear our telephone and stuff like that. So because of that kind of deprivation to the brain, and we don't do something about that, give them more the auditory input and information, that just will lead to more kind of deprived of brain function.
And that would eventually lead to dementia as well.
Yes, that increased the dementia. The Lancet has already talked about this. You can find in all journals that people with hearing loss has the double increase or double risk to have dementia later in life. Yeah, if not properly taken or not properly treated.
And what about treatments? What are the treatments that are available for hearing impairment?
We have the conventional, the typical ones that we have is hearing aids.
Okay.
Okay.
The cochlear implants that you mentioned something, yeah?
Yeah, the hearing aids is not a cochlear implant.
Okay.
Hearing aids is the first line that we have to try, because when there's a residual hearing, there's some more hearing that you can use.
Okay.
You just amplify it with hearing aids.
The device that you clip on your ear.
Yes. Nowadays, the technology is really amazing, Anil. You can never tell what AI can help us in the future.
Yeah.
But for cochlear implant, there are 4 patients who cannot get benefit from the hearing aids. There's very little residual hearing. So hearing aids cannot really help them, and this is a time when we have to do cochlear implants on this patient.
I see. Okay, great. All right, for those of you who just tuned in, I'm actually speaking to Siti Aminah Kamaluddin, the Deputy Head of Audiology Profession and Ministry of Health, and she's also the Medical Rehabilitation Officer for Audiology at Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Sabah, and we are actually speaking about the National Audiologist Day and the roles that the audiologists play in our day-to-day lives, as well as some of the intricacies of suffering from hearing impairment. Very interesting conversation. Keep it right here on What Matters. What Matters on Tracks Momentum with me, Anil, on the mic, and I'm speaking to Siti Aminah Kamaluddin, the Deputy Head of the Audiology Profession at Ministry of Health, and also the Medical Rehabilitation Officer for Audiology at Sabah's Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Siti Aminah, welcome back to the discussion.
Thank you, Anil.
All right. Now, first of all, I just want to know, since this is something that you deal on a day-to-day basis, you meet patients, you're out there, you're educating people as well, you're creating the awareness, you're breaking the taboo.
Yes.
Is there or are there any societal stigmas or taboos about people with hearing impairment?
Unfortunately, Anil, there are a lot of stigmas on people with hearing impairment because, as I said just now, they kind of social isolation, and that makes people think that they are kind of, why are you really like this? Why not socially? Why not talking to us? That kind of can lead to some kind of, I would say, misconcept of them,
right?
And they probably seen as incompetent and not really properly paying attention,
right?
But it actually just they can't really hear you properly.
Okay, and so to tackle this. What do you think is the best way, or rather, what are the techniques that are available that one should apply to communicate much better with people with hearing impairment?
Right, okay. Usually, Anil, when we see them, we tend to raise our voice. We tend to speak louder to them. But that's actually not helpful all the time. And they might find it annoying. And other people might find us annoying. And we find that we're just like scolding them. But actually, we're not. So try to get their attention first.
Okay.
Try to get
make them
attention.
look at me. So
look at you.
Turn them attention on us.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
Face the person.
Okay.
So then this allows them to see your facial, gestures and facial cues and stuff. Okay. Because they rely on the visual as well.
Senses, eyesight.
And also the lip movement.
Right. Okay.
So this help them understanding and in listening better. Okay. And you have to speak clearly to them, and you cannot really talk really fast.
Okay.
Just like us, you just have to probably slow it down. Okay, speak at a moderate pace and articulate your words clearly. So and avoid shouting.
Okay.
This won't help them hear better.
Okay.
It will only distort their listening ability. Yeah, you use gestures and expressions. And you can use sign language or sign kind of signing as well to help them. Rephrase, don't repeat.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the words that you're using is not really like kind of audible to them. So you just have to rephrase to other words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't repeat the same thing. If you have repeated this for sometimes, that they might not hear them. So rephrase it. Okay.
Yeah.
Minimize the background noise. Sometimes we tend to speak to, our loved one, while the TV is the radio is, we tend to listen to other things as well. So try to reduce the background noise. Turn off the TV, switch off the radio, and we try to speak to them again.
Right.
Yeah, because background noise is really like kind of culprit when we listen to speech.
Can distort the message you're trying to send to them.
Yes. Yep. And then please bring them for help, because you're not going to speak to them with that kind of thing every day. You don't like raise your voice all day to talk to them. So please bring them for help for hearing aids, and we can really help you with that.
Siti, Aminah, what you just spoke of earlier brought me way back to my secondary school days, because I spent my secondary school days in Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah in Kajang.
Okay.
And in my school then, I'm not really sure now because it's been a long time since I got in touch with the alumni, but in my school we had a special class that hosted kids with hearing and speech impairment. So
that's good.
So every Monday or every day whenever there's school assembly, we would have a special needs teacher who's translating everything that the headmaster, the pengetua, speaks into sign language. And then they actually opened up a sign language academy, so kids who were interested could come in and join and learn.
Amazing.
Yeah, learn how to sign. And I picked it up. I learned how to sign. And one of the first things that the teacher taught me was learning how to sign is only a very small part of it. But when you're signing and communicating with them, make sure your gestures actually resonate with what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Because if you're asking them what is your name, and if your gestures are aggressive, then they would actually perceive your gesture as being aggressive as well. It's like as though, hey, what is your name? Like as opposed to, what is your name?
It comes with intonation
as well. And they also emphasize on having eye contact. So when you're signing with them, look at them. And the first thing that I learned was the letters A, B, C, D, E. I learned all of that.
Oh.
And then I could actually hold on a conversation with them, and it was great. Yeah, I can go on talking about that, but anyway, So Siti, Aminah, I think apart from you being an audiologist and, the great things that you're doing, I think also a lot of women out there who are listening to the show will be very inspired by what you're doing. And also other young boys, men as well, everyone alike who want to make a difference in somebody else's life. What's your message to them?
My message to them is just stick to your dreams, okay? And because, I myself, my aim was to help people. So in terms, not being a doctor, but then, apart, with medical support to the healthcare line. So becoming an audiologist or whatever that you do in there, just help and be kind to other people. Stick to your dreams, and then, you have to study yourself, and then achieve the best.
Okay. And, segueing back a little bit to National Audiologist Day, where can our listeners get more information on this event?
We promote this event in our social medias, Facebook and Instagram. Everyone can find information on Malaysia Hears and Mansa page.
Okay.
You can just Google out World Audiology Day.
Okay, all right.
In Malaysia, yeah.
Siti, Aminah, Kamaluddin, thank you very much for spending your time today. It was such an inspiring conversation with you, an eye-opener as well. And, it's such an irony that 30 minutes is never enough to have conversations of such nature. But before I let you go, I'm sure you've got your family, your friends, everyone who's listening, and as well as your new fans as well. I know a lot of people are going to start, who's this Dr. Siti Aminah? What's your message to them before I let you go?
Right. I'm just thankful to be here. To give you all, this kind of, promoting the hearing awareness to everyone. And just hope everyone is take care of your hearing.
Okay. Yeah. And Siti, Aminah has got one final message for us before we leave.
Yeah. This is just kind of personal, preference. Probably Anil can play to me Alan Walker, Not You song for me after this.
Okay. So as we wrap up today's edition of What Matters, just to put a little bit of icing on what Siti Aminah has mentioned, she has requested for a song by Alan Walker. She's a big fan of him. So Siti Aminah, here's Not You by Alan Walker for you. And coming up at 12 o'clock, we've got the news. And then right after that, Anil on the mic will be back for another brand new hour of Tracks Momentum.
You're listening to Tracks FM's podcast. If you've enjoyed our content, more podcasts are available on the RTM Click app and website. Let us know what you think. Please email us at tracksfm.rtm@gmail.com. Like and follow us on social media at Tracks FM Official.